You are listening to episode 42 of the Peaceful Mind podcast. Welcome to the Peaceful Mind podcast, a place for creating the peace of mind you need to be the best mom you are created by God to be. If you want to bring more balance, more joy, and more peace to your motherhood, this is the place for you. I'm your host, certified life coach and Catholic mom, Danielle Tienel. In the name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, let's get started. Well, hey there, everyone. Welcome back. I hope that you are having a great day wherever you are. And maybe that includes somewhere that has a beautiful spring-like weather day today. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, and it is raining, but the lawn and trees and flowers are looking so lush and green, so I welcome it instead of feeling gloomy about it. See how I did that? Just turned around my thoughts about the rain in a way that makes me feel good about it. Yes, that is what comes easily for me now, that I learned how to be the person who uses my power to take any circumstance, in this case, a rainy day, and choose wisely about how I want to think about it. Someone else who has learned to do this is my client, Annie Targos. I thought at this point in the journey of the Peaceful Mind podcast, it was time for you to hear a perspective from one of my actual clients. Everyone I work with has the common thread of being a mom. Though it isn't even a must to sign up, the only must is that you have to have a healthy, working human brain. So, do you have a brain? But even within the commonality of living a mom life, each of my clients decided to invest in themselves and commit to making the change in their lives. But that doesn't mean they were all similar in what their struggles were or what their mind already believed about life coaching, because each person brings a unique set of beliefs about what life coaching can do for them, how it will impact their life, and how it will be different from all the other things they have tried to do before. And in Annie's case, she comes from a therapy background. She had some skepticism as well, and she'll explain that later. And she had what she says is a bit of a bumpy start. But many others find it from the start to be an answer to their prayers, a transforming life experience that far surpasses what they thought they were capable of learning and putting into action. But this is what I want you to listen for today in Annie's example. She took a chance on herself, even when the outcome wasn't known, even when she had a therapy background. She was still willing to be open to what was possible beyond what she already knew to be true. And she looked for and took the positives from what she was presented with, even though doubt and questioning creeps in at times. She committed to and shows up for her investment. She was stuck, like many of you are, and she bet on herself and won big time. Now, I have many clients who will have raving testimonies to say about having a one-to-one coach. And I may still have them on the podcast during future episodes, but I think many of you may be out there in a place similar to Annie. And it's you I offer this episode to. You out there who have to answer the call for more that is right now in your heart, but you may be doubtful too. Listen here how you can still be that way and totally move forward to a future version of you that you love. So here is a little insight, one example of a client's perspective. Enjoy. Annie, welcome. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Will you please start out by telling my listeners a little bit about you?
Sure. So my name is Annie. I've been married since 2013, so coming up on 8 years. I have a 4.5-year-old named Jack, a 1.5-year-old named Specie, and then I am 21 weeks pregnant with a baby, and we're not finding out the gender. We're excited to find out in September or
so
earlier.
Exciting.
Yes. It is exciting.
I love that. We did that for our third child too, not knowing.
Yeah.
So fun.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. My husband and I are both cradle Catholics. He is active duty Air Force, so I'm a military spouse, and we move around a lot. We're actually coming up on another move pretty soon.
Which we coached on.
Yes. Helpful. I work currently in community mental health and substance use. And I've been with this position for 4 years now, and getting ready to move. I'm going to stay at home for a little bit and then kind of figure out what I want to do next.
That's awesome. Can you tell me that before you signed on with me to coach, had you ever had a life coach before or heard of life coaching? And if so, what was your experience there?
So I'd heard of life coaching, but I'd never had a life coach. And I'd actually heard a lot of mixed things about life coaches. So kind of doing my own research on that and kind of figuring out, life coaches, they're not just all in the same. They come in many shapes and sizes and packages. So I wasn't even really necessarily looking for a life coach. It's just like when I saw like specifically Catholic mom life coach, I was like, okay, like this is where I am right now. So that spoke to me a lot.
And do you think that some of your research was spurred out of your background you have a background in therapy, right?
Right. So I'm trying to think how to word this. So there's a lot, like I said, I've heard a lot of mixed things about life coaching, and sometimes in the therapy world, like they might get a bad rap for certain reasons or whatever. And then I had actually listened to this episode on YouTube of a therapist that I really like and kind of her opinion on it. And she was like, hey, like I've worked in collaboration with some really good life coaches, and it's just therapy and life coaching are different, and you can get different things from both of them. So she had a lot of positive things to say about it, and so I kind of just did some further research on how it's helped people and how it's been different than therapy.
And throughout your research, what was it about life coaching that made you want to take the step to look into it for yourself? There must have been some kind of intrigue that was different than what you thought that you were like interested in finding out more about.
So I was feeling stuck. I felt like, I was doing a lot of things, but still feeling stuck because I wasn't really focusing on what I wanted to do. And I was doing a lot of things more so out of just like obligation and I have to do this rather than doing things that I really wanted to do. And so kind of when I ran across like your website and read through, kind of the things that you want to help with and that you've had success in helping other Catholic moms with, I was like, yes, this is what I want right now.
I love that. So what else was going on for you in your life? You just said that you felt stuck, and like, just more specifically, like where were you in your motherhood? Well, we've learned how old your kids are, so we know that you're, in the early part, but what were you mostly feeling besides stuck, and what did you want help with? Like, what were some of the specifics you were thinking that you really were stuck in, but wanted someone to help you move towards?
So I felt stuck and overwhelmed. It was like I kind of had a vague idea of what I wanted, but I wasn't really sitting down and defining that and taking the steps to get to those things. It was like I felt like I was just on this train and I would just jump on it every morning and it would just go like 0 to 100 all day. And then I'd jump off, go to sleep, not sleep well, and then wake up and do it all again. And I really just wanted some help, like, how do I sort of interrupt this process that I'm not loving and create a better process that's going to work for me and my family and help us feel more, fulfilled and peaceful.
Yeah. So many moms, as you know, will relate to exactly what you just said.
Exactly.
Right. So when you coach with me, we meet on a weekly basis and you get a full hour, right, of attention on you. So what is your favorite part about having that hour on your schedule a week to be coached on your brain? Like your favorite part of having a life coach?
It was nice to focus on me because I don't take a lot of time for myself. Just, working full time and having 2 kiddos and a husband and being pregnant and all these, obligations. I am not always the best at self-care. And setting aside time for myself. So it was nice to be like, no, we are scheduling this 1 hour a week to focus on my brain. And initially I'm like, oh, that's being selfish. But really, it's not, because, the better I'm taking care of myself, then the better I can take care of my family.
I couldn't have said that better myself, because that's one of the major things that I help moms with, right? Is having that kind of reverse perspective of that it's not selfish, that it's actually the most selfless thing you can do is to be, right, a mom who feels good and shows up as her best self, which only benefits your family. Right. Do you have a favorite session or a goal that we worked towards and achieved, or any kind of epiphany or mindset shift in particular that stands out in your mind?
I think it's hard to pinpoint just one. So wrapping my head around some new concepts and ideas, and taking a step back and just taking what I needed from it. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something more specific.
Well, one of the things when I'm just listening to what you're saying that I find that happens a lot is that it's one thing to hear me every week, mm-hmm. right? It's right. Another thing to kind of just like consume and try and understand some of the concepts. And it's a whole nother ball game, right? When you're actually applying those on your specific life and details, mm-hmm. right? Yeah. So, some things that come to mind, like you had a spot in your house that you really wanted to get organized and set up before you move. Right? How about what were some of the kind of ways you were feeling about that before you got coached on it? And then what happened there, and how do you feel about it afterwards?
Right. So like I said, initially I was feeling stuck and overwhelmed, not knowing where to start, and just kind of realizing like, just start. Like it doesn't really matter where, just start. So, starting on the garage, getting the garage cleaned before we move.
How are you feeling about it now, or were you able to get there?
So I'm feeling more relieved about being able to either start or finish some of the goals that I had set.
Yeah. And so in general, then, if you were going stuck, would you say that you feel stuck now, or that you know now what to do when you do feel stuck? Or what's your general feeling after like coaching sessions?
So I'm feeling more peaceful. I'm feeling more relieved. I'm feeling more motivated, not so much just like obligated and stuck. And in those moments where I do kind of feel that, feeling stuck or overwhelmed coming on, I'm gonna be like, okay, stop. What am I thinking right now? And just being able to pull myself kind of out of that thought process before it snowballs, and being able to figure out where to go next.
So good. So what would you tell someone who right now has been listening and kind of has this, inkling that they want to give it a try, but they would say that they're just kind of on the fence about it, not sure, deciding whether to work with me, or even just taking the step to have that free call and just to learn more about what's possible for them through life coaching? What would you tell them?
So I think if anything, just sign up for the discovery call, because you have nothing to lose there. You can kind of decide if that's the route you want to go or not. And I mean, it's just a free call where you get to talk about what you want and then decide what you want to do. So definitely nothing to lose.
And anything else that you would want to share with our listeners that I didn't mention or bring up here?
I think just one of the things I enjoyed most about like coaching with you specifically was that there's the podcast to go along with it. So sometimes if I'm like, oh, we're 3 or 4 days away from my next session, I'm making some progress on what we're doing, but I kind of just maybe want to hear some other stuff. You can just pop on an episode. And it doesn't take long to get through an episode or two and just kind of get some more words of wisdom.
Yeah. Well, Annie, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come talk with me. I know that I really wanted listeners to get a perspective on one of my clients, and that was so kind and generous of you to bring your time to come on today.
Well, I'm happy to do it. Thank you.
Thanks, Annie. So there you have it, one client's perspective. And if you found yourself thinking that you had some similarities to being stuck in your life or overwhelmed in your life, and you too can then vision yourself on the other side. Annie was, she held back a little bit on telling all of her specific goals that she achieved through or is achieving through life coaching. And I just want you to kind of go to think of the possibility that maybe you're in that same mindset now where she was, kind of stuck and overwhelmed and looking for a different way to try, and you might be open and curious at what is possible. Like, put yourself a few months down the road and just think of what you could have and the different person that you could be showing up as, and the unraveling of some past thought patterns, and to just overcome the fear of doing the uncomfortable and really just at least taking forward action towards that possible version of you that you want. And imagine being on the other side. It just takes starting today, taking action today. And if you feel called, then please sign up for a free call and let's just talk about it. I'd love to help you. And as always, I love providing you with these podcasts every week. If you're getting benefit from them, please rate and review. And I will see you again back here next week. Take care. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Peaceful Mind Podcast. Are you ready to take everything I teach you here and put it to work for your own life? To really learn how to have peace of mind no matter what is happening around you? If so, I'd love to have you as a client. As your coach, this is where you'll get personal and focused time on your own mind using life coaching tools, concepts, and proven life-transforming wisdom, all through a faith-filled lens. To learn more about how we can work together, come on over to danielleteenel.com. There, you'll see how to sign up for a free coaching consult and learn how to get started. Until next time, peace be with you always.